So this is another wonderful section brought to you by your BizEdge. And our topic for today will be Dynamic Array in Microsoft Excel by Chimei Ante. So about the sponsors. So your BizEdge is a registered Microsoft Excel consulting, financial modeling, business intelligence, data analysis, and enterprise solution firm in Nigeria. We specialize in helping companies and high value professionals be on top of the business data in the organization and company. So these are our calendar for our upcoming trainings. So we've already done the one of first to fourth, which is financial modeling already. So the next one is going to be 12 to 13, which is in-depth Excel training, executive dashboard, and business data analysis, which is coming up on the 12th and 13th of November. Also, 12th and 13th of November, also we're having big data analysis, Power Query, pivot table, and VBA for people that are into big data analysis. So the profile about our speaker today, which is Chima. Chima is from Mumbai, Indian, with a bachelor's degree in accounting, economics, and commerce. Chima worked as a private equity and debt analyst at MG Investments. He has previously worked at E&Y Indian. He has vast experience in financial sector. He has vast experience in the financial sector. You can follow Chima on LinkedIn with his LinkedIn profile and also on Instagram. So with no further ado, I'll hand over the section to Chimei. So I'll stop sharing my screen now.
Yeah, that's really nice. Thanks a lot for your introduction. So I'll just briefly share my screen and just discuss the agenda for today, and as well as try to give some background regarding myself and my journey on Excel. So am I audible and visible clearly? You guys can see my screen and audio.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. Yeah, so like I am working on Excel since like past 30 odd months. So Excel is something which is I'm passionate about. So that's what I'm working upon. And like I've worked in private equity space and investment banking space. So I have roughly around 30 months of work experience in financial services sector. So that's a brief introduction about me. And what's the today's session going to be about? So today's session is going to be about dynamic arrays. So dynamic arrays is a update in Excel, which was released by Microsoft in the year 2020. So we will talk about what exactly do we mean by dynamic array and what's the whole buzz about it. So that will be one topic for today. And also along with releasing dynamic arrays, what Microsoft has done, like Excel team has done, is that they have released 6 new functions with their dynamic arrays. So they have released a function called as unique function, which is like a substitute to remove duplicates, which we use. Then they have released another function which is called as an XLOOKUP function. So that is again a substitute to index and match. And then there are two very interesting functions called as let function and lambda function. So with let function, what you can do is you can define variables in Excel. And with lambda function, what you can do is you can do a recursion analysis in Excel, and at the same time, you can build your own custom user defined function. So with this all 6 to 7, 8 functions and with the logic of dynamic arrays, Excel has changed drastically, and it has increased its power like exponentially. Like you can even do functional programming in Excel. So that's what the today's topic is going to be about. These are my contact details, like my name, my mobile number, and my email ID. And also I've shared my LinkedIn ID in the workbook itself, so we can connect there as well. Talking about session, one very important thing which everyone should have for today's session is like a free account on www.office.com. So in case your Excel does not have XLOOKUP, or in case your Excel does not have a filter function, I would suggest to make a free account on office.com so that you can access all these functions. So I'll just wait for a moment and understand on the chat box if you guys can, let's say you can access a unique function in Excel. So, just try to type is equal to unique and let me know if you are able to access unique function or not. If the answer is yes, just mention yes in the chat box so that I understand that you have those functions with you and we can move ahead with the session. So I'll wait for a minute. Rohan is saying we have it.
You could be now 0. More better than me. मतलब ये लोग भी बैठे मतलब मैं पर वो
sorry for the disruption. I'm going to work on.
Yeah. So I think most of you guys have it. Ambuj, in case you don't have it, what I would suggest is open a free account on office.com. Just type www.office.com and you will be able to access, like it's by Microsoft, off Microsoft. So you need not worry anything about data security issues and all. Like it's by Microsoft, so it's very authentic way to access the Microsoft Office, and it's available for free. Online version is available for free, so let's use it to our advantage. Prem Sudhir, even you should open an account on office.com, and then I think you would be able to access those functions.
Equipe de ora e Excel. Marco deve poter numai Martine.
I would request someone to go on mute. I think there is some disturbance in the end.
Yeah, okay, I'm working on that.
Yeah, it's fine, guys. In case you don't have access to 365 functions as well, what you can do is you can just watch me performing those functions and try to get a vicarious understanding of how those things are going to be. So let's not waste time and let's start with the functions. So let's come back to the first sheet, which is unique COUNTIF with hash. Like this is the name of the sheet. So I'll just briefly introduce you to the data set. So these are some names of the employees. So here we have a list of names of employees. Everyone else on mute, I can hear a bit echo.
Right, can you hear me? So what I'm doing right now, I'm going to make everybody attendee, then I'll promote you as a presenter, so that way the disruptions will not happen again. So I just wanted to be aware, so I'm doing that right now.
Okay.
Just do that.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So yeah, we have close to 42 participants.
It will affect you. It will affect you right now. Optionally make you a presenter now. So just one. Make a presenter. Okay, so are you able to check now that you can present?
Just share my screen again.
Apologies for that. Here,
yeah. I can see people are waiting in the lobby. So can you just admit them to the lobby or just,
yes,
Yeah.
I would also change it. They can be able to come in directly. Only you will be able to present. So you can carry on them. So that is being done already.
Okay, cool. So I'll just introduce you to this data set. So what we have is here a list of employees. Like we have around a list of 50 employees. We have their email IDs. So Hooli.com is a fictional company which I've picked up. And these are their designations. So like, let's say Lorna is a partner in the firm. Leanne is an associate. Judy is a manager. So these are the list of designations which we have. So the point is this data set is not it's in a raw format, and we need to make a summary of this data set. We need to analyze this data set. So what's the ask here is that there are two asks. First thing is that we have to understand how many associates are there in the team. Like, how many analysts or associates are in the team, how many analysts are there in the team. Like that is one thing which we have to understand from this data set. Like what's the count? Like let's say there are 4 partners, 5 partners. So that one thing we have to achieve. And second thing which we have to achieve is that we have to replicate this email IDs for all the employees. So what I have done is that I have typed out for the initial 3 employees, but I don't want to again type it out for all the employees. So anyone has any suggestions on chat box on how would you go about how would you go about this case study? What would be your approach to solve this problem? Like, feel free to put the keywords in the chat box, and then I'll try to show you how we can optimize it by using the new dynamic arrays function. So any thoughts on the chat box? Like, feel free to do that, because let's keep this more conversational and two-way session where you also mention your views so that we can have interaction and we can think of a better solution. Okay, so Rohan is saying we will use unique and COUNTIF. Perfect, Rohan. Yeah, perfect. So how would we be solving this in the older version of Excel? So in the older version of Excel, what we would be doing is that we would be copy pasting this data set to some another location. And then we would be using a functionality called as remove duplicates in Excel. So remove duplicates is like go to the data tab, and here we have an option of remove duplicates. And now we have a unique count of designations, and then what would be doing is that we would be using the classic count function. Like we would be using COUNTIF, and this would be our range F4, freezing it, and this would be our criteria. And then we would be dragging the formula to the down. Now this is the way which we would have done in the traditional version of Excel, in the older version of Excel. But why dynamic arrays and why we should use unique functions is that the limitation of remove duplicates is that it doesn't keep the data dynamic. For example, like let's say if I change this partner to something called as XYZ. So if you see, there is no XYZ in my data set, right? So that's the limitation of using remove duplicates, that there is no count between, there is no correlation, or there is no linkage between the original data set and the data set which you are using. It's more like paste specially, it's breaking the chain, like we talked about breaking the chain in coronavirus. So you are breaking the chain between your data set. And that's not the ideal way to work in Excel if you are working on really large models or complex models. Like it's always good to have a linkage between the data set which you have received and the analysis which you are performing. So how would I solve this using the new functions in Excel is that I would be using the function called as unique function. So I'll just type unique function here. And these are, some of the function arguments with unique function accepts, like just highlighting it here. So I'll just show it to you. It's one of the most simplest function in Excel. It's even simpler than the if function because you just have to type unique and select an entire array. So I'm just typing unique and I'm selecting this entire array. So this is the way I have got the unique list of data sets. And if you can see, there is a thin blue line around my data set. So that's the concept of dynamic arrays, which I was talking about in the beginning. So whenever you see a thin blue line within your data set, that's the concept of dynamic arrays. So now we can understand this is a dynamic array. And then what I would be doing is that I would be using the same COUNTIF function, which I had showed to you earlier. So is equal to COUNTIF. What's my range? My range is this. So I'm selecting this entire range, F4, and I'm selecting my criteria. Now here is something again different in the dynamic arrays is that we need not drag the formulas down. So if you remember earlier, what I had did was I had written the formula in first cell and then I had dragged the formula down. But that is not again required in the new version of Excel. There is something new called as pound symbol or hash symbol. So if you can see, I have mentioned here hash symbol. So what we have to do is that if you see right now, only associate is highlighted. And the moment I press a hash symbol, just see the magic. Now just associate is highlighted and moment I put a hash or the pound symbol as called in UK, my entire data set is, it's getting spilled over. So see again, like now, right now associate is highlighted and I'm putting a pound symbol and my entire data set till in turn is getting updated. So that's the beauty of dynamic arrays. And then just I have to press enter. And if you see, all the unique designations are available here. So that's the way I would be doing it in the new version of Excel. Now again, I'll just show it to you again quickly. But before that, what I want all of you to do is that convert this data set into a table. So what you should do is just select this entire data, go to insert and just click on table. And then why we are converting that data set into a table, I will get back to that in a moment shortly. But just convert the data into a table, select the entire array, click on Control T and just convert it into a table. If you love keyboard shortcuts, then there are two keyboard shortcuts for Excel to converting the data into table. Those are Control T, Ctrl T, and Control L. So if you press Control T or Control L, even with those keyboard shortcuts, you can convert a data set into a table. So let me know in the chat box if you guys are able to convert the data into a table. Just type 1 in the chat box if you have been able to convert the data into a table. Just type 1. If you haven't been able to, just type 0 so that I know you are struggling somewhere. Divya is saying 1. Great. It's very simple, guys. Just select the table and just Control T or Control L. So why Control T? Because T stands for table, therefore table. And why Control L is also a shortcut for table is that in earlier versions of Excel, tables were called as list. So tables were called as lists in 2000, 2010 versions of Excel during those period. Therefore, for legacy reason, Excel has continued to keep that shortcut as also table shortcut for Excel. So I can see most of you guys are able to convert this data set into a table. And now let's just practice it with me. We just have to type unique and select this entire array to get a unique list of designations. And then we just have to use COUNTIF. So COUNTIF, this is the range associate to partner. And then in the criteria, just mention associate and then put a pound symbol and just press enter. So are you guys able to get this output, which I have mentioned it in the which I've highlighted in the yellow color? I'll just paste this formula in the chat box in case someone is struggling. So just let me know, guys. I'll just paste the formulas here. So formula text and formula text. So if you guys are able to get the output which I have got in the blue yellow color, so just put 1 in the chat box. Are you guys able to get the output which I just shown in yellow color? That means you have been able to successfully use unique function and the new COUNTIF function with the pound symbol. Gaurang is saying yes. So Samau is saying yes. Sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. Shailesh is saying yes. So I'm waiting for a few more responses. It's initial case study. We just have started, so going a bit slow. The more you respond on the chat box, the better this session going to be, because that's the only way we are interacting with each other. Otherwise, I cannot see your faces. It's an online training, and it really helps to get those feedbacks on the chat box. So waiting for more ones in the chat box. Yes, yeah, I'll come back to the point. Yes, I'll come back to the point. Cool. So that's fantastic. Like Shweta, I'll just try to repeat. Like I have used unique and I have used COUNTIF. So that's the simplest explanation I can give. So I'll just repeat it once. This is the first case study. Some of you guys might have joined in late, so just repeating it once. So just type is equal to unique, select the entire array, and then we have to use the COUNTIF function. And COUNTIF is a very basic function. First, we have to select the range and what's the criteria of we are counting. So associate is the criteria and then putting a hash symbol so that we don't have to spill the data. And now if you can see, I have got all the data updated. Now, one interesting question which was asked by someone in the chat box, and why did we convert the data into a table format? So the reason that we converted the data into a table format was to keep this data set dynamic. Now, if you see, we have the last position as intern here. Now let's update this data set. Now let's assume this company hires me, Chinmay Amte, as someone as an Excel consultant. OK. And let's say they hire Ifan. Sorry if I got your spelling wrong, as let's say someone as a PR consultant. If you see, the magic is that all these two fields are also included into our analysis. So the advantage of creating table is that you need not drag the formula down again and again. If your data set gets updated, it will automatically pull down the formula and you need not update your formulas manually. So that's the reason we created, the table before moving ahead with our formula. So that's the reason. And another advantage of unique function is that, let's say in case there is a change, let's say the company says that Chinmay, we have stopped calling our people as managers. We call them as counselors, let's say. So what you have to do is that on the client call itself, you can say manager to, let's say counselors, you can do a find and replace and replace all. You made the replacement, and if you see, even your data set is, updated for counselors. So it's, if you remember, the traditional way of working on Excel was that of remove duplicates. I had renamed the partner as XYZ and there was no linkage here. So that's the beauty of using the dynamic array function unique, is that there is a linkage between the data set. So that was the advantage of using unique over remove duplicates. And now let's say we have to replicate these email IDs. So what I have done is that I have typed 3 email IDs one by one, but I don't want to, type the email IDs for all the employees. It will take a very, very, very long time. So what Excel has come up with is something called as flash fill functionality in Excel. Flash fill. I'm just typing it down here and just highlighting it in yellow, blue color. So what it does is that flash fill is based on a machine learning algorithm in Excel. So it's based on machine learning in Excel. So what it does is it identifies a pattern and then it replicates that pattern. So if you see, I have given Excel a pattern that is firstname.lastname@julio.com. Again, I have given a pattern firstname.lastname@julio.com. So what you can go is that just go to the data tab. And here is something called as flash fill. So the keyboard shortcut for flash fill is Control E. So you just have to hit Control and E, and in a moment, all your email IDs are replicated for all the employees. So that's something called as flash fill functionality in Excel. So to summarize, what we learned on this sheet was that we learned remove duplicates versus the unique function. So that was our first learning. Second learning was COUNTIF with the pound symbol, like with the new hash symbol. Then third learning was that make use of Excel tables. And fourth learning was that of flash fills. So these were the 4 things which we learned on this worksheet. In case anyone has any doubts or anyone has any queries, feel free to leverage the chat box and put them on the chat box. I'm just, highlighting this in a different cell style so that we know what we tried to achieve in this case study. So let me know, guys, in the chat box if you are clear with all these 4 terms of what we tried to achieve. If you could understand all those 4 things, just mention 1 in the chat box so that I can know and we can move ahead with the subsequent examples and subsequent case studies. Shweta, it won't be possible to repeat it again. Maybe if we have some time in the Q&A, we can, showcase it again. Cool. Yeah, so I'll just take few questions from the chat box. So this functionalities, I'm not sure about Google Sheets. I think these functionalities are for Microsoft Excel, and that too specifically Office 2021 version or Office 365 version. So not sure if these are available in Google Sheets. Sai is saying that I am unable to put a hash symbol after selecting the COUNTIF. Sai, what you can do is that you can use the online version of Excel, which is office.com, and then I think you will be able to do it there in case your system is not updated. Yeah, Rohan, Control E works anywhere, so it's not necessary that the data has to be in table format. It will work absolutely fine in all the cases. Neha, as I mentioned, why we use table was that to update the data. So in case like this company also hires you, like let's say they hire Neha as like, let's say, as a student or as a summer intern. So if you can see, you have been replicated into my analysis, like summer intern 1 designation. So that's the whole agenda of using table. It's to keep our data set dynamic. Flash fill, Jayashree, it's just a pattern. It can be used for anything. So whenever you have to replicate a pattern in workbook, you can use the concept of flash fill. So if like, let's say you want to use any specific pattern, you can, like, let's say you have a list of numbers. So and you have a country code. So, you have the list of numbers and you have a country code and you just want to remove those country codes. So you can use the concept of flash fill. So whenever you want to use repeat a pattern, you can leverage the concept of flash fill. Cool. So I think we spent enough time on this example. I'll just wait for 30 seconds. In case anyone has any doubts on these 4 concepts, I'll wait and then we can move to the new sheet, which is called as VLOOKUP plus meticulousness. So in case someone has been able to catch up with me and the speed is okay, just try to go to VLOOKUP and meticulousness sheet and try to solve this case studies on your own. And I'll wait for 10-30 seconds before we move on in case someone has joined in late and just wants to get some clarity. Samu, sorry if I'm getting your name wrong. We don't need to activate Flashfill. It's there. Just go to the data tab, and in data tab there is something called as Flashfill here. So activate it. It's already there. Cool. So let's move to the new sheet, which is called as VLOOKUP plus meticulousness. And just one request, guys, please try to put as many ones and zeros in the chat box, because that's the only way I know that you guys are able to understand what I'm trying to say. It's making sense for you. You're enjoying the case studies and it's helpful for you. OK, so just try to, whenever I mention that, try 1 zeros, just try to use that, because that's the only interaction which we are having between the, the presenter and the audience. So please do that. Now let's move to a new example. Let's come to the tab VLOOKUP plus meticulousness, and this example is going to be a bit heavier example. So just try to be with me, try to have full concentration. In case someone wants to grab a quick sip of water, just do and come here. So let's come to VLOOKUP plus meticulousness tab. And this is, I'll just introduce to this data set. So these are the city names. So these are city names in India. So Mumbai, Delhi, Bangalore. And these are the list of colleges. So like, let's say I am from Mumbai. So in Mumbai, we have a college called as SP Jain. In Mumbai, we have a college called as HR College. In Mumbai, we have a college called as TISS, like Tata Institute of Social Science. So that's the data set about. It's the city location, city name, and the college. Now, what I'm trying to do out of this data set is that if you see this data, it's not at all helpful for publishing it in a report or something. It's too big for user to read. Like, let's say if I want to make a understand what are the colleges in Delhi. So I have just literally go by one, like Delhi FMS. Okay, go down Delhi AIMS. Okay, go down Delhi IIT Delhi. So it's not a user friendly report way of publishing the report. So what I want ideally is that let's say Mumbai. So what I want is that in front of Mumbai, I should have list of colleges like SP Jain, then JBIMS. This is the way I want, like one after the another. Now let me try to throw a question. So what I do is simply, okay, I'll try to use a VLOOKUP. It's so simple. So I'm just trying to use a VLOOKUP. So I'm looking up Delhi in this data set, and my column index number is 2, and I want a correct match. So therefore I'm putting a false. So before I hit enter key, can you guys tell me what's the output going to be? Just let me know in the chat box. Before I hit enter, can you guys tell me what is my output going to be? Gaurang is saying FMS, Ratika is saying FMS, Shailesh is saying FMS. But guys, I don't agree with you. I feel the output can be AIMS also or IIT Delhi also, right? Why not AIMS or IIT Delhi? Because there are 2 names associated with Delhi. Why not those functions? Or why not those colleges? Correct. So Timidayo and Kritika, you Gaurang, perfect. Perfect. So you guys are absolutely correct. So what VLOOKUP does is that it always goes with the first match. So let me press enter here. We just get FMS. But again, I'm not interested in FMS, right? I want all the colleges which are based out of the city of Delhi. So what's the way of solving this? So how would we get multiple outputs by doing a lookup? VLOOKUP doesn't do that. XLOOKUP doesn't do that. Index and match doesn't do that. So how would we do that? Perfect. So Samu, it's the right answer. So we would be using something called as filter. But before using the filter function, like it's a dynamic array function. It was released in 2020, almost 2020. We might not have used it. So how would I do it in the traditional version of Excel? You know, like the most easiest way, the most simplest way, you know, not much effort, not much thinking is involved. How would I do it is that I would use the same concept of filter. So what I would do is that I would hit Control Shift L, like Control Shift L is, you know, again a formula for putting filter. So I'd select the data, put a Control Shift L, and then let's say we are interested in Delhi, right? So I would put a filter for Delhi here. And then, you know, I'll just copy paste this list somewhere. Control C, I'll paste it here. I'll remove my filter, and you know, I'll just try to, you know, concatenate this list one by one, like, you know, and you know, I'll just try to concatenate this list. This is what I would be doing it. So let's try to structure our thinking. So what we are doing in the traditional version of Excel is that first we have decided to use filter function. So we have decided to use filter functionality, first filter. Then what we did was we put a filter in the names of city names. So we are telling Excel that put a city name filter as Delhi. So we are putting city name filter as Delhi. So, and then we are selecting the list of colleges and then we are copy pasting it here. So if I just try to summarize my thought process, it would be first I'm using a filter, then I'm putting a criteria of is equal to Delhi, and then I'm copy pasting those values. OK, so the same functionality I would be doing it by using the concept of filter function. So again, filter is equal to filter, filter. It's an Office 365 function. It's a dynamic array function. It was recently launched in Excel. So it's very simple function is equal to filter. Now what I want to filter, if you remember, I had copy pasted the names of colleges, right? So it's the list of colleges I want to filter. So I'm selecting this array. This is what I want to filter. So this is my output. So I'm selecting B23 to B34 because if you remember, we had copy pasted the names of colleges. So that is my array. And now we are including the criteria. So if you all remember, we had put criteria is equal to Delhi. So I'm selecting this is my array and my criteria is equal to Delhi. So, you know, I'm just putting is equal to Delhi and then just I'm pressing enter. And if you see the magic, we have got FMS, AIIMS and IIT Delhi in one go. And again, if you see, there is a thin blue line outside my array or box. So that again shows us it's called as dynamic array. So I'll just show it to you again. So I'm typing is equal to filter. What I want to filter, I want to filter the list of colleges. So selecting the list of colleges, then I'm using the what's my criteria. So my criteria it's that it should equal to Delhi. So selecting the names of colleges and it should equal to Delhi and just pressing enter. And if you see, I got the list of colleges one by one. So are you guys able to understand the filter function here? And then we will go back to, you know, how we can get back that data into an entire cell. But is filter making sense for you guys? Could you guys get this output, which I have, you know, just highlighted it in, let's say, yellow color? Are you guys able to get this filter on your systems? Just let me know via ones and zeros. Gaurang is saying 1, Yuvan is saying 1, Ifine is saying 1. Great, great, great. Pratika is saying 1. Shikhar, Sagar, cool. Yeah, try to put as many ones and zeros as possible, guys, because that's the only way I understand that things are making sense for you. Shiv is saying 1. That's great. That's great. Now, but again, the problem which we are facing is that, you know, I don't want the data spilled across multiple cells. So if you see, this data is, you know, B25, B26 and B27. So this data is spilled across 3 cells. I don't want the data to be spilled across the cells. I want the data to be in one single cell. So is there any Excel function which helps us to get the data across multiple cells into one single cell? So my question is there any Excel function which helps us to, you know, get data across multiple cells into one single cells? Can you guys tell me, is there any function? Abraham is saying text join. Perfect. Any other function, guys, apart from text join? There are few more text function. Timadio transpose won't help us because transpose would change the structure of the data. It won't, you know, concatenate into one single cell. So I don't think transport would be relevant. Correct me if I'm wrong in the chat box. Perfect, Shiv. So I was looking out for concatenate function. So these are the three text functions in Excel and concat, and there is something called as text join. But text join, it was released in 2016, I think, and it's one of the most powerful functions. So these are older functions. So I would be using the concept of text join here. So what I'm doing is just watch. I'm just deleting it. So I'm using text join. So what is my delimiter going to be? So how do I want to combine my data? So I want to combine my data by using comma. So I'm putting double quotes, comma, space, comma. So my data will be separated by commas. Then it is saying second argument is optional. We can, just put it as true. It's just that, if there are blank data sets, you need not worry on that. And in the third data set is asking me what do you want to combine or what do you want to join? So I want to join the names of these three colleges. And then I'm selecting all these three colleges and I'm hitting enter. Now, if you see FMS, AIIMS and IIT Delhi, they are in one single cell for me. Right, I'll just show it to you again. So just type is equal to text join. What is my delimiter? My delimiter is going to be comma. You can put anything, like you can put semicolon, you can put space bar, you can put apostrophe, but I prefer commas. So I'm putting comma as my delimiter, and you have to put it in double quotes. Second argument is optional. You need not stress on that. We can put true, false, anything because our data doesn't have blank cells. And the last cell is what do we want to join? So we want to join these three names of colleges. Now, if you see the beauty, the moment I go on IIT Delhi, it is putting a pound symbol, which is the hash key. So again, the concept of dynamic arrays, which we learned in the previous sheet with unique and countif, was that whenever it's a dynamic array, Excel, just takes the starting cell and it puts the hash symbol. So if you see, it's just G25, G26, but moment I select an entire array, it comes up with a pound symbol. And just click on enter, and your data is combined into one single cell. So that's the purpose of, text join and filter function together. Now I'll try to nest both this function, but before that, I just want to understand whether text join made sense for you. Just put ones and zeros so that I understand that, text join made sense for you. So Ratika is saying 1. Thanks. Ambuj is saying 1. Cool. Sagar is saying 1. Perfect. Shiv, Rohan. Yep. I'll wait for a minute or so in case anyone has any query. Aman is saying 1. Cool. Basudev is saying 1. That's nice. Yuvan is saying 1. Cool. That's nice. Now let's try to nest this function. So again, like as an bit more of theory, like as an advanced Excel user or as an Excel expert, what our journey should be like. This is what I've realized by talking to a lot of MVPs and like seeing amazing Excel experts, is that we should always break down our thinking into pieces, and the real complexity, the real fantastic work, quality work, awesome work, which we can do is by nesting different functions. So we have just broken down logic by using filter function separately and text join function separately. Now I'm going to nest this function. So nesting 3 or 4 functions, like combination of index and match or combination of unique, sort, filter, all these things, functions combined together will give us amazing outputs in Excel. So what I'm doing is that I am trying to nest all those functions together. So just be with me. So I'm going to column K22. So I'll paste the formula in the chat box so you guys can also try. So first, what I will be using, I'll be using a filter function. So this is my filter. F4. What's my criteria? It's going to be the list of colleges. So again, selecting F4, it's equals to city name Delhi. So my filter function is closing here. If you see, I'm getting the list of colleges, but I want it in one single cell. So before filter function, I'm using the concept of text join. So text join. What's my delimiter? It's comma. Second argument is optional, so not putting anything there, and just adding a comma and boom. And if you see, I have got all those, and then I'm just dragging the formula down. So I'll just auto highlight it. I'll change it to some better color, font color, maybe dark black. I'll just highlight it better and just highlight it in yellow. So this is the output which we have been able to got. So this is our raw data set which I have highlighted in let's say green color. So this was our raw data set and this is our filtered data set. Now you can see the difference between the two data sets. I'm just highlighting it. This is not at all user friendly to read, but let's say you put this data set into a report, the guys will be able to make sense. Like these are the list of 4 colleges in Mumbai. So that's another angle which we should keep in mind while working as a data analyst. Is our reporting making sense? It's making life of user easy. Is he making, is it easier for him to interpret things? So this is what we have done using text join plus filter function. So that's again a dynamic array function. I'm just posting this in the chat box for you guys to try it on your own systems. And if text join and filter is making sense for you, just type 1 in the chat box so that we can move ahead with the another example. Yeah, Basudev, filter function absolutely helps you in large data sets as well. There was one video by Leela Gharani. So she had done some testing on whether dynamic arrays is faster or not. So it turns out that after some 1 lakh rows or something, I think dynamic arrays are faster than the traditional functions. But yeah, like you can use filter functions for large data set. And in case your data is really large, then I would suggest, try doing something in Power Query or Power Pivot. I think that would be a right approach to go ahead if your data is really huge. So I have posted that formula in the chat box. What I want every one of you is, just copy paste that formula on your own systems, whether you're using office.com or whether you're using Office 365 version, and just, put 1 in the chat box so that I know that you are enjoying this case study and it making sense for you. So I'll wait for another 2 minutes to answer any queries if you have. Yeah, so Shailesh is saying 1. I'm waiting for a few more queries, guys. It's not available in the 2016 version. You will have to use office.com in case you don't have the updated version of Excel. Gaurang, in this case, J22 pound won't work because the dataset which is there available, like this dataset, it's not a dynamic array. There is no blue line outside the list of, my names. So what you can do is that maybe you can create a unique names by using a unique function. You can create a unique list of city names and then try to use the pound symbol. So that's the reason pound symbol doesn't work here. So if there is not a blue line outside your array, it's not a dynamic array and your pound symbol won't work. Cool. So I have received enough ones. I'm just, waiting for another 30 seconds in case anyone has any query on this case studies. And then, we would move ahead with the another example where we would be using the concept of XLOOKUP. So I'm waiting for just 30 seconds. In case someone wants to grab a quick sip of water or something or answer any phone call, just do that. I'll wait for 30 seconds. Rian, these files are shared with you. I think Ifan is there, is the coordinator for you guys. So what you can do is, just email Ifan or, someone can just upload it in the chat box so that, Rian can download it. It's already available. You can practice it. Yeah, I think someone has uploaded. Krutika, so this Excel does not have the solution. So why I have kept it separately is that if you see the index, it's called as a before workbook. So before workbook will only have questions. So what I want you guys to do is take the before workbook, go through all the case studies and try thinking on your own. How would I solve this case studies? How would I solve this case studies? And once the session is done, I'll share an after workbook with you, which will have all the solutions with you. So then you can look at my solutions and compare it with yours. So the reason only why I have kept it separately is that because I want, that questions and answers to be different so that we try to think on those solutions. And it can happen that, you can come up with even a better solution than me. So that thinking should happen. That's the reason I've kept those things separately. Another example. So come to, guys, cell A4. Cell A4 in the same workbook, we look up plus meticulousness. And I'll just try to introduce you to this data set. So again, these are employee names like Bobby, Michael, Sakshi, Apsara, Leela, Chinmay. These are the names of employees. These are the days they have spent in the organization. So like Bobby has spent 179 days. Aditya Virat has just spent 1 day in the organization. Chinmay has been in the organization for almost close to 2 years. He has spent 730 days. So these are the days spent by the in the respective employee in the organization. Now what we want to do is that this data set, it does not make any sense for us because it doesn't help us to give any analysis out of the data. So what I want to do is that I want to create buckets out of this data set, like these buckets. So I'm just highlighting these buckets into border color. So what I want to do is I want to create a bucket. Like let's say if an employee falls between 0 to 180 day category, so tag him as less than 6 months. If someone is more than 731 days, tag him as 2 years and more. So I want to club my data set into various buckets. So how would I do it manually is that, like let's say Bobby. So Bobby has spent 179 days. So he comes under 0 to 180. So copy, paste. Michael is again 53 days. So copy this and paste here. Ram is 366 days. So he should come in 1-2 year category. So copy and paste it here. Vineet, he has spent 500 days. So 1 to 2 years, copy and paste here. So if I end up doing this manually, it will take me ages. And understand this data set is like a sample data set, taken for illustration reason. In real life, you will have a really long data set. So doing it manually won't make sense. Another way which I have seen people doing is that, they put a filter, like, they put a filter, Control-Shift-L, and they'll try to put a number filter, like, greater than, less than, and they'll try to manually copy paste. But again, that is not, the most ideal way of doing things. So can you guys tell me in the chat box if you have faced a similar situation in the past? And what would be your approach to solve this case study? Just wanted to know that in the chat box. I'm waiting for 30 seconds. So Timadio is saying if, Ifan is saying VLOOKUP. Jerry is saying nested ifs. Okay. Ratika is saying XLOOKUP. Come on guys, try to think and try to put your solutions in the chat box, because once that thinking happens, you would appreciate that why XLOOKUP is better. Otherwise that will always be a black box key. If VLOOKUP is solving something, then why would I use XLOOKUP? Cool. Perfect. Perfect. So I'll just turn on my camera. Sorry guys, I'm also eating some dinner, like it's dinner time in India. So that's why, going off the camera just to have my quick bites of food. So yeah, so perfect. So there were two questions, which two responses. One was that of ifs. Second was that of VLOOKUP, and Ratika has also mentioned that we will be using XLOOKUP. Now I'll just, briefly explain you that why approach 1 and approach 2 are not correct. Why we should not use these two approaches and why we should be using these approaches. So first thing is that nested ifs. Now, if I try to create an ifs condition, now just imagine, like, there will be 4 conditions, like greater than 0, less than 180, greater than 181, less than 365, greater than 366, less than 7. So there will be 4 conditions. And what if, tomorrow my boss says, or my client says, or my colleague says, Arey Chinmay, why don't you add one more bucket, like 1.5 years to 2 years? Then again, you have to go to the if formula and change it. So what happens that it becomes a very long formula. It becomes a very complex, difficult to read formula, and it's not scalable. So in case you make any changes in this data set, you'll have to go again and change the if formula. And if someone is not that familiar with nested functions, they are bound to make mistakes. So therefore, ifs would be rejected because it's not something which is scalable. So why I won't use if? Because it's not a scalable formula. So that's the reason that scalability is missing. Now let's try doing it, using VLOOKUP as well as XLOOKUP as well. So let me just try delete this. Here we will put VLOOKUP. And here we would put XLOOKUP. OK, so let's just try doing it both. So VLOOKUP, what is my lookup value? So these are the days. This is my lookup value. this is my table array F4, and my output are in column index number 3. So 3, and here I would be using something called as an approximate match. So I'm putting here as true, and then dragging my formula down. So there are small things. Now, how do I drag the formula down? So there is a shortcut called as Control and D. So you can press Control plus D, or you can press Control C, Control Alt V, and paste special formula. That is another thing. But how I do it, I try to save my time, even those small things. So if I show you the method of Control Alt V, so Control C, then Control Alt V and F. So it's 5 keyboard strokes one person is using. But if you notice me, I'm just using 2 keyboard strokes. Control C, selecting the entire area, and I'm pressing Alt and 3. So I'm not using Control Alt V. Why Alt and 3? Because if you see on my quick access toolbar, I have formula paste as my third argument. So I'm using just 2 keyboard strokes, whereas a person is using 5 keyboard strokes. So I'm 60% faster than him. So these are the small things where we can find our competitive advantage. So this is the way we would be doing VLOOKUP. Now, why would we use the true functionality here was that true is something called as approximate match in VLOOKUP. So if you see it's not a perfect match, right? If I put a perfect match, like if I put a false here, go for a toss, because it looks for the correct match. So why it is matching 366 here is because exactly that number is available. So it's not considering a range, right? But the moment I choose VLOOKUP to true, like the moment I make it true here, what happens is that all my formulas get automatically replicated because it's an approximate match. So what Excel is doing is that between 0 to 180, it will be 6 months. Between 181 to 365, it will be this answer. So it's doing an approximate match. So this is the solution with VLOOKUP. OK, are you guys clear till this point? If yes, just let me know in the chat box, and then I'll demonstrate the XLOOKUP thing to you. Is this, what we are trying to achieve this case study? Is it making sense? Is it going at the right direction? Are you trying to understand the sense of the data? If yes, cool. Ratika is saying 1, Shiv is saying 1, Divya is saying 1, Ambuji is saying 1. Perfect. So that's the use of VLOOKUP. Now I'll try to use the concept of XLOOKUP. So XLOOKUP, what is my lookup value? My lookup value is this value, the first value, B5. Where is my lookup array? So this is my lookup array. So I'm selecting this and then pressing F5 to freeze the range. And what is my return array going to be? So my return array is going to be this column J. So I'm freezing it again by pressing F4. And now, so these are the small things available in XLOOKUP. So in XLOOKUP, it is already giving you the concept of if error function. So if not found, you can put semicolon NA. So you need not use an if error function separately, like you can directly use in NA here. And it is again asking you the match mode. So you have 0, -1, 1, and 2 as your match mode. So what I would suggest here is that it's a lower range, like less than range. So put -1 as your matches. And just click on enter. Now you are also getting the same answer, right? Are you guys able to replicate by using XLOOKUP? I'll just explain it to you again. Is equal to XLOOKUP. This is days are the lookup value. I want to look up here. F4. This is my return array. F4. If not found, you can keep it blank. It's not a mandatory argument. And match mode can be -1. So we are putting -1 because it's an approximate match. And then we are just dragging the formula down. So are you guys clear with XLOOKUP? And then I'll come to why XLOOKUP is better than VLOOKUP. Are you guys clear with XLOOKUP? Just let me know in the chat box. I'll just paste the formula for your reference in the chat box so you guys can also try it on your systems. So you guys have asked me why -1. So as I told you, we can't do an exact match here because we want to match the range. So if I do an exact match, it won't work in this scenario because see, I'm not interested in 179. That's the whole purpose we are bucketing this data, right? For me, 0 to 180 is same. It's less than 6 months. So I'm bucketing this data. Therefore, I want an approximate match, like whether you fall into this category. So, you just go into that category. So that's why we are doing an approximate match and using -1. So that's the reason of using -1. It's just like, grading systems. Like, let's say you score an exam, like you want to grade A, grade B, grade C. So you want all those people who have scored more than 80 to 100 in grade A, right? So whether it's 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, everyone should get a grade A. So that's the concept of approximate match, which we are trying to achieve. I hope it is clear, Yuan and Jayashri. Cool. Thanks, Timidayo. Now, I'll come to that. So now why I am like, it's a very obvious question. Ki VLOOKUP is doing the job. XLOOKUP is doing the job. Why the heck I should learn XLOOKUP? And it's a very valid question. It's a very interesting question. And I'll just show you why XLOOKUP is more scalable formula and it's why a better formula. Now this is our range, this is our data set, right? And it can happen that, we keep on sorting the data, filtering the data. Just see the magic, I'm just sorting this data. Now this is in ascending order 0 to 731. I am, just sorting this data as largest to smallest. And the moment I sort this data, you can see my VLOOKUP has gone for a toss. VLOOKUP is not working. It is throwing me an NA error. So I'll just show it to you again. This is our normal answer. I'm just sorting this data, largest to smallest. And if you see, VLOOKUP is giving me an error. So I'm just, highlighting VLOOKUP in some other color. And XLOOKUP, it's still giving me the right answer. So why XLOOKUP is giving the right answer? Because it has inbuilt sort functionality in Excel. So it has inbuilt sort functionality in it. So it has inbuilt sort functionality. So if your data is in haywire order, XLOOKUP will still manage it, but VLOOKUP will fail. Even index match will fail for that matter. So that's the reason. And if you're working on a really complex model, a large data set, you never know, which person has sorted which data set, and your entire output will go for a toss. You will spend 2 hours understanding if the formula is right, why it's giving me a wrong answer. So that's the reason why we should always try to use XLOOKUP, because it's more scalable formula. It has the inbuilt sort functionality in itself, inbuilt in it. So just let me know in the chat box if you like XLOOKUP or VLOOKUP, and if you have understood this case study fully, then we can move ahead with another case study. So just let me know by our ones and zeros if this case study was making sense for you. Thanks, Timidayo. Thanks for your feedback. I'm waiting for a few more feedbacks, and just waiting for 30 seconds in case you guys want to practice or make sense out of it, or just want to take a short 30 seconds, 1 minute break. So feel free to leverage chat box as much as possible, and it would be wonderful to have an interaction in case you guys have any queries or anything. Waiting for another 30 seconds, and then we can move ahead with another example. Yeah, thanks, Anthony. Cool. I think we got a decent response. Now what we can do is that we can move to another concept of the core concept of dynamic arrays. So come to the sequence and dollar sheet. And just come to cell B6. Sequence and dollar sheet, cell B6. What's today's duration? Ifan, can you mention it in the chat box how much more time we have left? Is it going to be for like another 30 minutes? Yeah.
We have actually exceeded time already.
Oh, it was just going to be for 1 hour. OK, cool.
Yeah.
Yep. No issues. I'll just try to wind up by giving a brief example of the concept of dynamic arrays. I thought we have more. Since we joined in late, I think it makes sense for us, to extend for another 10 minutes because we had waited for initial timeline. So, I'll just try to briefly explain the concept of dynamic arrays, dollar signs, why they are not required, and then we will quickly wrap up for Q&A and any queries you have. So I'll go a bit fast because we have exceeded the timeline. So this is the table which we have. So these are the list of processor parts, like we have processor, motherboard, GPU, RAM, SSD. So these are the name of parts, and these are the list of prices in US dollars, right? And these are the respective currencies, and these are the conversion rates. So like, let's say US dollar is $40. I want to convert it into the respective local currency. And why I want to do that? Because let's say I have customers for different countries. So whenever I'm sending a list to a European customer, I want to send the data in European currency. So how would I do it in the traditional version of Excel? So traditional version of Excel, you will have to use the concept of dollar signs. So you'll have to, freeze the column C, multiply it by column I, and then you will have to freeze the column 7. I'm just putting it into the chat box for your reference. So you would be using this in your older version of Excel, and then you would be, dragging this formula down, right? Now what happens is that in the traditional version is that this is a perfectly right solution, but this dollar signs, they make simple things, unnecessarily complex, and many a times we get them wrong, when we are busy, when we have a lot of pressure, and sometimes, we are not just comfortable with using the dollar signs. So this is the old way of working on Excel. What would be the new way of working on Excel would be just simply multiply an array by array. So what you have to do is select this entire array, C7 to C14, multiply by this array, and boom, you get the answer in just one single click. So I'm just putting this formula in the chat box, Control C, Control V. So I'll just show it to you again. So just select one entire array, multiply it with another array, and boom, you have all the answers to you. You need not use the concept of dollar signs. And again, if you see, there is a thin blue line surrounding your data, which means that it's a dynamic array. So that's the beauty of working in dynamic array. And what's the logic of this multiplication? It's based on the concept of matrix multiplication. So if you remember, in our school days, what we did was, I'll just share my browser with you guys again. So in school days, we use the concept of matrix multiplication, right? If you remember, in school days, we must have done this. I'll just show you the images. Yep. So, we had done this dot product method and ifs method in our high schools and schools. So that is nothing but dynamic arrays. So this, whatever this image is showing, this is the backend logic of, why these things are working. So it is using or the leveraging the concept of matrices in Excel. So that's where, school mathematics or college mathematics is used by Excel in the real life world. We need not take stress what's happening in the backend, because that's the stress which Excel engineers have taken. We just need to use it, but that's the new way of working in Microsoft Excel. So roughly, just to sum it up, like I again, want to give you a more holistic perspective of what we tried to achieve was that we tried to understood what's the concept of dynamic arrays, the blue line which I was showing. We understood unique function, we understood the pound symbol, we understood the XLOOKUP function, we understood the new way of not using the dollar signs. That's the way, we have worked in the new function. So these are some new functions. Now there are two more new functions, which is called as lambda and which is called as, let function. So I'll just briefly show you what lambda does. Let me just see, Now, if you see, this is an unclean data set, and just very briefly, I'll try to explain you in 30 seconds. This is an unclean data set, right? So this has numbers and special characters. What I just want to do is remove this from the data set. So what I have done is that I have made a custom function called as remove numF. So you won't have this function in your own systems. So this is the one custom function which I have typed using the lambda function, right? Then another use case we have is that, we need to get a fiscal year out of a date. So another thing which I've done is that I have made my own fixel functions. So this is the concept of user defined functions. So this is what lambda helps us. So lambda helps us to, write our own functions without the need of knowing any coding. So you can use just the basic knowledge of Excel, nest it into the lambda functions and create your own functions in Excel. So that was lambda does for you. we'll just briefly cover FAQs in 2 minutes. So these are my contact details. My name is Chinmay, my WhatsApp mobile number and my email ID. Please give me a detailed feedback on WhatsApp so that we can improvise this session. All feedbacks are most welcome. And these are some FAQs. I'll just briefly organize. If you have any doubts, you can reach out to me. We will share the recorded version of this. Ifan will be sharing the recorded version in case you missed some part. I will be sharing a solution workbook which will have all the solutions, so you guys can practice all these, payback period challenge, 3D lookup challenge on your own and match it with my solutions. And these are some LinkedIn posts which I've written, which will help you with the list of resources where you can learn Excel. What should be your approach to learning Excel? So, just go through these LinkedIn posts and would be more than happy to, understand your feedbacks on my LinkedIn post as well. So just posting one in the chat box. So with this, I officially end the session here. And what we can do is that we can have a brief Q&A for 5 minutes, and then we can wrap it up the session and we can enjoy the rest of our Sundays. So thank you so much, guys, for inviting.
Yeah. Awesome. So any question? Any question? And Chime, awesome section. So any question in the house? So if anyone has any question, you can put it on the chat box below. Chime, are you still there with us? Hello, Chime.
Yeah.
You still okay? So if no one has any question, remember I told you about the 2 questions we just ask our special guest at the end of every section. That can you tell us how you started your data analysis journey and what advice? It's usually in 2 questions. The first one is how you started your data analysis journey, and the second question is what advice do you have for upcoming people that want to become a data analyst?
Yeah, perfect. So my data journey, it started like in the month of December 2018, and now we are almost in November 2021. So I roughly have around 3 years of this journey with this data or working on Excel. So I have worked in like investment banking and private equity profiles where we leverage Excel. So it was always like part of my job. So what helped me gain some knowledge or become better at Excel was always having that curiosity, like which is the best way to solve this problem. So let's say I have solved a question by using a VLOOKUP. Now we'll go and try to think, what's the limitation of VLOOKUP? Why not, is there any better way? Then I understood there is something called as index and match. Then I thought index and match has some limitations. Why not another better way? So I came up with something called as XLOOKUP. And then I thought XLOOKUP is not something which is working out. Why not try Power Pivot? So that's my journey. It has always been like that curiosity, that always trying to find a better solution. So it pivoted me from VLOOKUP to index and match to XLOOKUP, and from XLOOKUP to Power Pivot. So we should always try to upgrade our knowledge so that we become better and better at it. I always try to, have an open discussions with my friends and colleagues. So I always try to, come up with a case study. Like, let's say I face some challenge at our office. So what I do is that I create a dummy data set, like by using names of sports and examples. And then, I discuss it with my friends. This is the way I had solved it at my office, but can you think of some better solution? So, I just try to, like payback period was one such example. Like one of my school friends, he's doing MBA now, and he said, Chinmay, payback period is something we have to calculate again and again. Can you think of some solutions? I just sat, tried to think on it, and, came up with a solution which automates the calculation of payback period. So discussing with friends and colleagues, trying to always upgrade our knowledge. I think these 2 points have always helped me to become a better data analyst. So I would like to end that question with, like be curious, try to upgrade, and always discuss with your friends and colleagues.
Wow. I literally learned so many things today, Chime. Like there's some things I usually do, but I think yours was a little bit, yours better actually. It was so.
Yeah, thanks, Tamayo, for your kind words. Like really means a lot. Thank you so much. And thanks a lot for inviting. I am following, like I'm in touch with Ifan, but I follow all your, meetup.com posts, and you guys are doing really wonderful sessions. Like I see that, you have been able to invite like MVPs. Like I think Bob was there in one of your sessions. So like He's using Excel since, I don't know, like since 25, 30 years. So it's really wonderful initiative which you guys have taken, spreading the knowledge, making these recordings available, inviting speakers. So, thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for uplifting our community and making us all as part of a community, better data analysts. So thank you so much for this initiatives. There are a few questions in the chat box. So what you guys can do is that, ping me on WhatsApp, ping me on LinkedIn, and I'll, try to answer those questions there. So over to you, Tamayo, like in case you want to end this session. Yeah, I think we lost him. Ifan, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
I think it's Temida that was. I think you've gotten to the part where we need to ask you about your. I don't know if he has asked you, but I was following.
Yeah, he has already asked about.
He has asked.
Yeah, he has asked.
Okay.
So,
I think, is it the part where we wrap up or?
Yes. So we're done with the session.
Okay. So Timaya, we are really very grateful. It's an honor to have you, and we hope to have you again soon in the coming year. Happy Diwali to everybody over there in India.
Okay.
I know it's a very big festival.
Yeah.
My people who are like companies where we have Indians, they sometimes put up the decorations. There's a lot of decorations they do around. So it's a pleasure that you are able to join us during this time. And so thank you to everyone. Thank you to Maya once again. And
yes.
John, I'm going to say bye and stop the session.
Yeah. Thank you so much for inviting. I had fun. Thank you so much, guys. Yeah. Bye.
Will the solution be available? The solution. You said you gave an after workbook.
Yeah, I'll share it with you on WhatsApp maybe by tomorrow or something, and you can share it with the participants.
Oh, okay. No, all right.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Bye.